Kwa sababu nilikuwa wanakuja kunipembeleza, nikauliza mlikuwa wapi mtoto akiva.
Saying their kin could have been saved if medics acted swiftly. The opposition brigade crisscrossed parts of Ukambani and central Kenya in a bid to rally support, especially from the Gen Zs.
Tarehe 25 mwezi June, we mark it as a Gen Z Revolution Day. Itakuwa ni sikukuu ya watu wa Kenya kusherehekea uhuru mpya.
As President William Ruto continues heaping praises on their broad-based arrangement with ODM leader Raila Odinga.
Mimi na baba tumekubaliana tutaunganisha taifa letu la Kenya. Hakuna jamii itawachwa nyuma.
Also ahead, austerity for who? Controller of Budget Margaret Nyakango decries massive wastage of government resources.
Why do we even have a budget deficit? It is because we have a long wish list of what we need to do. But we need to ask ourselves, do we need to do all that?
Revealing that the government officials spent over 10 billion shillings in 9 months on unessential overseas travel. All right, thank you so much for joining us tonight on this Friday with me, Betty Kialo. Our sign and language interpreter tonight is Rhoda Nyamai. Now we start with some devastating news, and a heart-wrenching tragedy at Igegania Level 4 Hospital has ignited national fury. An 11th-month-old baby, James Muuri, lost his life amid an ongoing doctor strike in Kiambu County. And a viral video of his grieving grandfather, of course, clutching to his lifeless body, has left Kenyans outraged. Now the family is demanding swift investigations and accountability, urging Kiambu County to hold the absent doctors responsible. Muthoni Brenda now brings us this story behind the painful plea for justice. Take a look.
A heart-wrenching cry shattered the silence at Igegania Hospital this Tuesday morning. Inside those walls, James Muiruri clutched the lifeless body of his 11-month-old grandson, baby James Muiruri, as he wailed in pain, struggling to accept the unimaginable loss. Reacting to the viral footage that captured his desperate outburst against the hospital's security personnel, Muiruri recounted to TV47 the harrowing ordeal that unfolded before his eyes. The tragedy began when baby James was rushed to Igegania Level 4 Hospital after contracting a high fever.
Wakati walimpeleka huko, wakaanza kufa ati madaktari wamegoma.
Upon arrival, the family says it was not met with care but with chaos, and a severely understaffed hospital crippled by an ongoing doctor's strike in Kiambu County. Nurses offered initial first aid and arranged a transfer to a private facility in a desperate bid for better care. However, upon arrival at the private hospital, doctors insisted that the infant required an even more advanced facility.
Walimrudisha Igegania. Wakamtoa kwa ambulance, wakamweka kwa kitanda na wakaanza kumpatia hewa.
In an act born of relentless despair, Muiruri lifted his grandson from the hospital bed and sprinted through the corridors, pleading for someone, anyone, to come to their aid. It was during this frantic search that baby James Muiruri took his final breath, leaving a grieving grandfather in a state of bitter disillusionment towards the hospital's administration. This tragedy has laid bare critical failures in our healthcare delivery. With doctors absent due to a strike, even desperate cries for help seem to fall on deaf ears. Families are caught in a system that is failing its most vulnerable citizens. It was here in Igegania Level 4 Hospital that baby James Muiruri breathed his last. And according to the family, were it not for the doctor's strike that has rocked Kiambu County, their son would still be alive. Muthoni Brenda for TV47.
truly devastating story there. Definitely justice has to be found. Now moving on, Controller of Budget Margaret Nyakango has sounded the alarm on excessive government spending, highlighting a troubling increase in travel expenses and meeting expenditures. Now we understand, of course, that according to her report, the government has spent approximately 10 billion shillings on official trips in just 9 months, raising concerns and questions about prioritization at a time when many Kenyans are grappling with economic hardship. Now, Nyakango also pointed to the 108.1 billion shillings in unpaid pension dues for retirees, calling for urgent intervention to ensure those who serve the country receive their rightful payments. Now, her report has reignited discussions on austerity measures, with stakeholders pushing for tighter controls on public funds. As economic pressures mount, critics argue that the government resources should be channeled towards essential services rather than excessive travel and costly meetings.
Why do we even have a budget deficit? It is because we have a long wish list of what we need to do. But we need to ask ourselves, do we need to do all that so that we end up with a deficit? And I raised some areas here. Quick wins which can reduce our spending, discretionary spending, foreign trips. You know, benchmarking, they are very expensive.
Must we borrow for the budget deficit? Why will we finance our budget through?
Okay, now high-stakes political drama continues to unfold as investigators probe the alleged abduction of Juja Member of Parliament George Koimburi, which authorities now claim was staged for political mileage. Now tonight, 4 suspects, including Muranga Kanyenyeni Ward MCA Grace Nduta Wairimu, have been released on a 300,000 cash bail each, even as Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen now throws the ball to Parliament. Willie Njiru now tells us more.
The suspects were arraigned in court Friday morning following their arrest in connection with the controversial incident. Police alleging the abduction was fabricated to serve political interests.
The IO has also stated that he wanted the respondents detained for their own safety until the ground was neutralized, since the incident had sparked public uproar. And lastly, the IO inferred that if the respondents were released, they would interfere with the investigations.
Among those arrested is MCA Grace Nduta, who remains a person of interest in the case investigation, say she was at Pala Entertainment Joint in Gatundu South alongside Koimburi, one on the night of the alleged abduction, contradicting her previous claims of attending a church service in Kangema.
There are no existing compelling reasons to have the respondents detained in custody. However, the court cannot ignore the fact that the likely charges facing the respondents are serious, and they need to ensure that investigations are not jeopardized.
Despite being admitted to Karen Hospital in Nairobi, police say Koimburi has refused to record a statement, leaving detectives questioning the motive behind the staged disappearance.
The IO needs to obtain medical records and record a formal report from the victim, who is currently hospitalized as Karen Hospital in serious condition, and further that he requires the respondents to assist him tracing and arresting the other suspects.
Meanwhile, Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen is calling on Parliament to fortify laws supporting enforced disappearance, warranting that self-initiated abductions are trivializing the severity of real abduction cases.
Because this is not happening, now people are doing it on themselves. So you must help us. You must help us by having a proper legal framework that will enable us to punish such cases and punish them properly. You must also help us, a member of parliament, that no one will be above the law.
Speaking at the National Assembly Awareness Workshop on Strategic Good Control in Naivasha, Murkomen also wanted the law to introduce strict penalties against individuals found guilty of self-kidnapping.
We've been combing through the law to find out what exactly is such a member of parliament going to be charged with. And you realize that most of the offenses that he has committed may be lighter. We need a more serious law that will provide serious punishment for people who are faking kidnappings.
The CS warned that such incidents could set a dangerous precedent, especially in the wake of the recent killing of Kasipul MP Charles Ongondo, who was shot dead in Nairobi.
This is serious because a member of parliament is a person who occupies a very high office. And this comes after we lost another member of parliament who was unfortunately shot, and the case is in court. So when a member of parliament participates in this very comical act of self-abduction, it generally creates despondency among the population. And it also it makes cheap and lighter a serious subject matter of abduction.
As Kenya grapples with these emerging security concerns, the government now faces a delicate balance act, ensuring justice for the real victims while blocking attempts to exploit abduction laws for political gain.
It's also time we have honest conversation about enforced disappearance and put in place proper legal frameworks that deals with any cases of abductions and kidnappings that may happen in the country.
Willie Dennis Njiru, TV 47.
Now, a devastating accident along the Mombasa-Nairobi highway has thrown traffic into chaos, leaving thousands stranded for hours. Now, the crash, which occurred in the early morning hours at the Jet Inn Bridge between Emali and Simba areas in Makueni County, involved 3 trailer trucks, claiming 1 life and leaving 3 others critically injured.
This was the scene for much of Friday afternoon as efforts to clear the gridlock continued. For more than 12 grueling hours, frustrated travelers sat trapped in unrelenting traffic snarl-up, watching as emergency crews struggled to clear the wreckage.
Wakuja watufungulie, hao watu wote wamekesha hapa, kuna wenye wamelala hapa, na bado safari bado ni mrefu.
Nimeingia hapa saa 6 usiku.
The gridlock was caused by a grisly crash involving 3 trailers trucks at the railway bridge near Jet Inn area. The deadly collision claimed 1 life and left 3 others in critical condition.
We rescued the patients. There were 3 in number. 1 was critically injured because he sustained some fractures. The other one sustained fracture of the humerus. And another one had just chest injuries.
Regular users of the highway are now calling on the government to intervene, fast-tracking long overdue expansion plans to accommodate rising traffic demands and prevent future accidents.
Wafikirie kuhusu hii barabara sababu imekuwa nyembamba, imekuwa busy, at least ipanuliwe.
Mpango hii barabara, Bwana Ruto, tufanyie mpango hii barabara. Sisi tukae ukitudanganya tu.
Panue hii barabara sababu ni barabara busy sana. Na ina watu wengi na ina connect nchi nyingi sana.
Authorities say officers have been deployed to ease congestion, urging travelers to exercise patience and adhere to diversions. Kinto Wafula, TV 47.
Thanks, Quinto, for that report. Now, tonight, President William Ruto has praised ODM party leader Raila Odinga for his support in forming the broad-based government when his administration was rocked by divisions. Now, Ruto, who spoke during the second day of his Luo Nyanza tour in Homa Bay and Kisumu, said his union with Odinga has allowed his administration to implement the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Apollo Kamau tells us more.
In a show of unity and a testimony of their broad-based alliance, President William Ruto and ODM party leader Raila Odinga shared a fish meal with their allies at the new Homa Bay Modern Fish Market. The market, launched by President William Ruto on day 2 of his tour of the region, saw Ruto and Odinga conduct a joint tour, with President Ruto thanking Odinga for standing with him when his administration was rocked by internal divisions.
Na mimi nataka nimshukuru Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. Sindio? Kwa sababu wakati wengine walijaribu kutuletea kisirani, baba akasimama na mimi akasema tuunganishe Kenya ili tuweze kupanga mambo ya maendeleo ya Kenya, tuwache mambo ya ubaguzi, tuondoe ukabila, tumalize chuki, ndio Kenya iweze kwenda mbele.
Odinga is using the tour to drum up support for his union with Ruto, praising Ruto's development projects, among them affordable housing and the Social Health Authority Insurance Scheme, telling the region to support the president's development agenda.
This is very important in our society. Hayo ndilikuwa sera ya chama chetu cha ODM. Haya yote tulikuwa naye katika mpango yetu ya azimio ya umoja. Na kwa sababu tunaona sasa hata watu wa Kenya Kwanza wameiga mpango yetu. Na hii ni kitu mzuri. Mimi nataka watu wananchi wetu waunge hawa mkono. Hapa Homa Bay, hii mambo hapa mmeona hapa, mambo ya stadium. Raila Odinga Stadium. Siko pale.
Odinga's allies are rallying behind the broad-based government, saying Nyanza is solidly behind Ruto, led by Odinga.
Your Excellency, sisi tunakushukuru. Kwanza vile umeshikilia baba vizuri. Baba siku hizi anatembea kama baba. Baba anatembea kama nani? Baba. Akiingia anaheshimiwa. Milango inafunguliwa. Salute anapigiwa. We want you to continue to hold our baba very closely, sir.
Huyu baba yetu yeye, sisi tunaangalia tu direction yake. Akisema left tunaenda wapi? Na akisema right tunaenda wapi? Na akisema fire tunafanya nini?
President Ruto, who kicked off his tour at the Kisumu Tom Mboya College to close the week-long Blue Economy Summit, affirmed to address lake conflicts affecting the fishing community, with Odinga urging the government to engage Uganda on the disputed island of Migingo.
This is a contentious issue that we need to take up with Uganda. We need to take up this issue with Uganda so that this matter is properly resolved. We do not see any reason why our fishermen should be harassed in the waters.
And then we will now work with the shipyard to make sure that we produce enough and replace all the dangerous wooden boats with modern fishing boats.
Apart from the Homa Bay market launch, the president also handed over 110 affordable housing units in Homa Bay, where he also launched the 500 million shillings Homa Bay Pyre. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Moving on, opposition leaders took their campaigns to Ukambani and Mount Kenya regions, ramping up criticism against the Kenya Kwanza administration, led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Now, the leaders urged Gen Z to register as voters in large numbers, pledging to make President William Ruto a one-term leader in the 2027 elections. Now, the leaders have now set aside Monday, the 2nd of June, as a day to honor Gen Zs who died during last year's anti-finance bill protests.
At a rally in Machakos, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka led a chorus of condemnation against former allies who once supported the Gen Z demonstrations but later aligned with President Ruto's administration.
Na mimi nataka nimuulize ndugu yangu Raila, kwa nini watoto waliuawa 2024 badala ya kuwaunga mkono tunawaachilia mbali?
Kalonzo insisted Raila Odinga must answer for the betrayal.
Hatutaki watu ambao wana uoga. Mtu mwenye uoga.
While reaffirming that the opposition bolstered by Gen Z will challenge Ruto in 2027, the outfit announced June 2nd as a day to honor the Gen Zs who died during last year's protests.
Tarehe 25 mwezi June, we mark it as a Gen Z Revolution Day.
At the rally, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua intensified his attacks on President William Ruto, predicting he would only serve one term. He urged Gen Zs to register as voters in large numbers, describing 2027 as a moment of liberation.
Na tutamsukuma kwa sababu ameharibu Kenya. Na tutamsukuma kwa sababu Kenya hawezi endelea akiwa kwa kiti.
Also taking aim on Ruto's administration, former cabinet minister Justin Muuri dismissed the affordable housing project as a money siphoning scheme, further accusing senior government officials of benefiting from corrupt government deals.
Hizo pesa za housing hizo tu William Ruto ameanza kupora, zingine anapatia ile mtu anaongea.
Meanwhile, People Liberation Party leader Martha Karua has officially launched her grassroots presidential campaign, starting in Koto's Kirinyaga County, where she sought blessings from local leaders before expanding to the regions.
I'm going to go to every ward, to every nook and cranny, taking the same message and discussing.
Karua emphasized her extensive leadership experience, stating she is ready to face off against other opposition candidates.
A PLP administration will bring discipline and order, and in a country, discipline is about following the rule of law.
During her meeting, Karua criticized Ruto's administration, denouncing punitive taxation and arguing that the government should create an enabling environment for Kenyans instead of burdening them economically. Chichi, Josephine, TV 47.
All right, away from matters politics, poor governance remains a persistent issue across Africa, hindering development and slowing technological progress. Now, many African nations continue to lag behind due to leadership challenges affecting key sectors of growth. Now, experts from the African School of Governance warn that Africa will remain underdeveloped unless its leaders adopt a transformative mindset, prioritizing good governance and accountability. Meanwhile, governance analysts have urged the judiciary to assert its independence, arguing that a strong and impartial judicial system is key to resolving governance challenges, particularly in Kenya.
I think there is a consensus that there is a very significant deficit of leadership and governance in the continent. And this is one of the reasons why Africa's peoples, compared to the rest of the world, have less health care, have less education, have less skills, have less drinking water, have less electricity. These are the practical manifestations of capable governance, and they are in short supply in Africa.
Us as Kenyans are a bit far away from the ideal leadership that we would want or expect from Africa, and this is with regards to accountability. From where we stand at the moment, Kenya lacks accountability in terms of the governance, in terms of the leadership that we have. I think accountability can be achieved through the judiciary, because if there's cases of corruption, cases of mismanagement of funds, embezzlement, the only organ in the country that can influence, or rather that can implement the laws that are already in place, is the judiciary.
Governor Johnson Sakaja has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to expanding access to affordable housing in Nairobi as he inspected progress on the Jivanji Bachelor Housing Project in Ngara. Now, the project initially planned for 80 units is now grown to 1,800 units, aiming to provide more city residents with modern, affordable homes. Now, during the tour, Sakaja emphasized the importance of accessible housing solutions, especially in rapidly growing urban centers like Nairobi. Now, he urged county tenants to pay rent, explaining that these funds play a crucial role in financing more housing projects to meet demand from the city's over 7 million residents. As Nairobi's population continues to rise, the challenge of affordable housing remains critical, with stakeholders pushing for more sustainable development initiatives to address urban housing shortages.
Remember, there's the affordable housing program by the national government, but there's also our urban renewal program. We're renewing 9 estates in the city in phase 1, and we're going to do another set of them in the coming few months. This is just one of them. We have Pangani down the road. We have Ziwani, Bahati, Kariobangi, Woodley, where you have seen the work that is going on, and many others. And so for today, I've come to see the progress on the site. I want to thank the developers I want by December to hand over keys. December this year, that we can hand over keys to the citizens who have signed up for these houses.
All right, moving on, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development has stepped in to address concerns raised by Muuri irrigation scheme. Now, farmers regarding rice importation. Now, in a bid to stabilize the sector, the Kenya National Trading Corporation, KNTC, will purchase over 5,000 metric tons of locally grown rice, valued at approximately 500 million shillings, ensuring that more than 8,500 farmers receive payment within 1 month, resolving previous delays. Now, according to AFA Director General Dr. Bruno Linyiru, Kenya produced 191,000 metric tons of milled rice in 2024-2025 season, enough to last only 2 months, given the nation's monthly consumption rate. Since January, 94,000 metric tons have been imported, highlighting the need to supplement local supply as rice remains Kenya's third most consumed staple cereal.
It's true that there is rice, there is paddy that needs to be milled and requires to be bought so that farmers can be paid. We've had a very good conversation with the society in terms of what needs to be done going forward.
We are aware that yes, we cannot feed the nation. As the country, we cannot feed the nation, even when we consider all the production within Muuri and other areas. So this one, for now, our worry or our concern was, like as of now, we were supposed to have paid the farmer by May. We are heading to June.
KNTC is here as the biggest off-taker of this rice from Muuri rice growers. And mine is just to encourage farmers to join the circle. We increase our production and KNTC is assuring them of a market. KNTC picks up this rice and markets it to government institutions. So we are here to assure you that we'll get orders, we'll mill the rice and we'll off-take it and market it on behalf of the government.
Okay, now Naivas supermarkets have opened a new branch, Naivas Lucky Summer in Baba Dogo, Nairobi, as part of its continued expansion. Now, this marks the second branch opened in 2025, strategically placed in one of the city's rapidly growing areas. Since its beginning in Nakuru in 1990, Naivas has expanded from a small shop into a major retail chain. The Lucky Summer branch adds to its growing network, aiming to enhance accessibility for shoppers in the area. Now, the new store reflects the ongoing changes in Kenya's retail sector, providing consumers with additional shopping options as urban centers continue to develop.
Kuna special offers kibao. Kwa hivyo kama hujafanya shopping, walk into Naivas Supermarket Lucky Summer ufanye shopping ya kwako na utaenjoy tena kwa mpigo zaidi. Na tuko na watu wengi kutoka Lucky Summer.
Huyu jamaa hakutekwa nyara. Na kwa sababu hakutekwa nyara,
Okay, to some sporting action. All right, now the stage is set for one of Africa's premier athletics events as the 6th edition of the Keep Kano Classic takes place tomorrow at the Ulinzi Sports Complex in Nairobi. With excitement mounting, both Kenyan and international stars are gearing up to deliver electrifying performances in a competition that promises to be one of the most thrilling yet. Now, this year's event marks a historic first as it moves away from its traditional venues at Nyayo and Kasarani stadiums, bringing the action to Ulinzi. Among the standout athletes expected to compete is South African sprint sensation Bayanda Walaza, who will take on the highly anticipated 100-meter race, while Kenya's Ferdinand Omanyala seeks to defend his title for the 3rd consecutive time.
Now,
an annual fixture on the athletics calendar. The Kipkeno Classic, which is more than just a track and field, meets its celebration of talent, resilience, and the spirit of competition.
You know, to be already in the runway, and that anxiety will end. To me, I'm not under any pressure. I know what I'm capable of doing, and this competition is the second of the season, so I'm not rushing myself. The season ends in September, and the main focus for me this year is the World Championships. I already qualified for the World Championships, so there's no any pressure. It's not like last year when I was chasing the qualification for Olympics.
This year, Africa's fastest man, Ferdinand Omanyala, is ready to pull up again about his changes of that 100 meters Kipkeno Classic victory tomorrow at the Ulinzi Sports Complex in Nairobi County.
I've been chasing a sub-10 for the whole season, and I'm praying that I get this blessing here tomorrow at home.
This year's edition is drawing a stronger and more diverse field than ever before, with renowned athletes from across the globe expected to join Kenya's finest in the pursuit of glory.
I love to see sprinting growing in the country, and that's my passion. And the legacy will be how many lives will I have inspired at the end of it all.
Fans expect fireworks across various disciplines, from the ever competitive sprints to the long-distance races.
This is not the second time running against Ratile. It is, I think it's going to be the third time, because the first time we raced against each other in Cameroon, and I took it.
With world-class competitors like Julius Yego, Ferdinand Omanyala, and Sarah Mora confirming participation, the meet is not just a local spectacle, but a global affair, attracting attention from athletes, enthusiasts worldwide.
Javelin is always about the rhythm. If the rhythm is not there, it's very difficult for you to have a good throw. So it's a process, it's a learning process always, so it's step by step.
Among the top Kenyan athletes expected to light up the track are Olympic medalists, emerging talents, and veterans looking to make a statement on the home soil.
I have a 977, but when you line up against some kids who have personal best of 10.2s, that's what happened at some time back in South Africa. You get into a race and you look down upon guys, and then these guys are flying off because they want to shine with you.
Ulinzi Sports Complex, which plays host to event for the first time, has been fine-tuned to meet world-class standards, promising athletes a fast track and fans an electric atmosphere.
Able to leave even more legacies. I want to see younger generations coming and pick up the sport.
As the Kipkeno Classic goes to wire, all eyes will be on Nairobi to see who conquers the track, breaks barriers, and writes their name in this prestigious meet.
I had a stronger desire to try and qualify for the Olympics in 2016. Didn't qualify, but I qualified for the World Championships in 2017.
The Kipkeno Classic stands as a beacon of athletics excellence, not only celebrating the legacy of Kenyan legends, but also providing a vital platform for emerging and elite athletes where dreams take flights and future champions. Habon, Boniface Kimanzi for TV47 Sports.
Hey Bonnie, you do your stories with passion. Wewe ni kama unapata double salary. Thank you for that fantastic story there about the Kipkeno Classic. Of course, now the one and only. Ebu simama tukuone. Check it dem. Ebu salimiana manze unangojewa huko nje.
Cheki najua ya kwa majina ni Jackie Vikeno, lakini leo nimeoga. Leo nimeoga.
Kwani uogangi?
No, nikipata maji muoga, unajua mara mingi kama sijavaa kama winja.
By the
everyone is like, "Kai unakaanga hivi."
But then mimi honestly, sijuangi kutoa kwa awinja na wewe.
Oh, yeah?
Kasi niko like that's not you. Wewe ni awinja.
No, Jackie Vick is the tree. Awinja is the branch.
Hey manze, but I mean, bro, I'm proud of you manze.
Thank you.
Lakini watu wanakupenda pale hivyo mtandao, watu wameuliza maswali.
Yo. Mpaka unaniogopesha jamani. Au sio maswali mzito?
Wewe unaweza hata unaweza act kama ni uongo.
No, hapana, I am very open.
You're ready. All right.
Ladies
and gentlemen, Jackie Vick is in the building. Talk to us, of course, on our social media platforms. Uliza maswali zote. Nimeona za Instagram, leta za Twitter pia za X. Huko ni huko, wachana na X.
In the pits.
All right, so we also have Willis Ochieng, and we will be coming back with him for which is which. Unajonga hiyo ni ile to pronounce.
Najonga hiyo.
No, Willis.
Oh, hi Willis. Oh my God, kamera yake ni gani?
Wewe ongea tu. Tuko na huku
No, Willis ananipatia pressure. Mimi pronunciation zangu zote ziko off.
Jackie.
Hi Willis. Hi Willis.
Hi Jackie, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you Willis. I'm such a fan of yours. Tangu nikuwe mdogo mkifanya mambo na
Thank you so much. But you know what?
Yeah.
Don't have any pressure because of any language. Nobody in this world can be perfect.
Thank you so much. I'm here to learn.
Raja, you say elephant.
Yes.
Na si elephant. Nikusikia huko unasema elephant.
Ya msongo alinikosoa karibu nimwambie wewe ndo nalipa fee. I was like elephant. Ati mom, it's elephant.
Kwa hivyo mtu anajua hivyo. Kwa hivyo mtu anaenda group of schools.
CBC tu ya kawaida.
All right, Willis, thank you so much. We have the lovely Jackie here in studio. And of course, we're coming back for our lesson tonight. All right, so let's take that break. Msiende mbali, tunarudi sasa. You.
Sinu. Thank you so much.
Karibu.